students, here Himali Shah. Today we are going to learn about the scheduling algorithms. First, that is the first come first serve, that is called as FCFS. FCFS. So now what will be there in first come first serve? So which process come first, that will be considered as a first in the scheduling in CPU, right? So as example, process P0 come first at a 0 arrival time. So 0 arrival time, so P1 take place first. Then next P1 second, then P2 third, and P3 that will be last fourth. Right? So P0, P1, P2 and P3. So this scheduling algorithms usually used in a queue data structure. We are using this structure algorithm in queue, right? So now FCFS is considered as a non-preemptive scheduling algorithm. Right? We have already seen the preemptive and non-preemptive scheduling algorithm. So first, non-preemptive scheduling algorithms means what? So non-preemptive, that means one process voluntarily comes out or terminated, then and then second process take place. So that is called as a non-preemptive scheduling algorithm. Now we have to consider this example, process arrival time and completion time we have to given, that is the P0, P1, P2 and P3 are there. So P0 arrival time 0 and completion time 10. So 0, 10, 1, 6, that will be in a millisecond, mind well. So 0 arrival time and completion time, that is 10. P1 process arrival time 1 and completion time, that will be 6. Next P2 process arrival time 3 and completion time 2. And next P3 arrival time 5 and completion time 4. So in exam you have to given like this, process, arrival time and the completion time. So on base of these given instruction, you have to find the turnaround time and waiting time. Turnaround time and waiting time. So now how we will find the turnaround time and waiting time? Before we are going to see this, we have to find the finish time, right? So this is the Gantt chart. Why Gantt chart is used? Gantt chart is used for the representation of scheduling of process. Scheduling of process, that means which process comes first, right? So usually at a 0 arrival time, P0 come first. So we have to write down here P0 and the completion time of P0, that is the 10. So up to 10 millisecond we have to consider the P0 process. Now that will be terminated at a point of 10 millisecond. So finish time of P0 we will consider as 10. Got it? Same as after P0 completion, which process comes first? P1, right? So next P1, its execution time, like completion time, that is 6. So here the 10 and then 6. So that will be considered as a 10 plus 6, that is 16. So finish time of P1 process, that is considered as a 16. Next P2, arrival time 3 and completion time 2. So P2 16 plus 2, that is 18, right? Next P3, P3 take place and up to where? 4, that is here completion time. So we have to add more 4. So finish time of P3, that will be 22. So in the Gantt chart we can see the first process come like P0, then next P1, then next P2, then next P3, right? And the 0, that is the 10, that is the completion time of P0. So we have taken the 10, then the next 6, the next 2, the next 4, that's it. And we have to add 10, 10 plus 6, 16, 16 plus 2, 18, 18 plus 4, 22. So this is all about the Gantt chart. Using Gantt chart you can find out the finish time of process. Okay. So now what we have to find out? The turnaround time and waiting time. So here the process P0 is there. Process P0, P1, P2 and P3. Arrival time we have to given. Arrival time, that is 0, 1, 3 and 5. The next completion time, that will be 10, 6, 2 and 4. Now we have to find out the finish time first. Finish time. So as we discussed, for P0 finish time, that is the 10. So here write down the 10. The next for the P1, that will be 16. So 16. Then P2, that will be 18. Then P3, that will be 22. So this is all about the finish time. Okay. So now we have to find out the turnaround time. So turnaround time, that means what? The finish time minus arrival time. We have already seen in terms what is the meaning of turnaround time. That is the duration between the finish time and the arrival time. So we can write down like this: 10 minus 0, that will be 10. 16 minus 1, that will be 15. 18 minus 3, that will be 15. 22 minus 5, that will be 17. So this is all about the turnaround time. Now what's about the waiting time? Waiting time, so we have the formula of waiting time also. Waiting time, that is the turnaround time minus completion time. That is the formula of waiting time, the turnaround time minus completion time. So 10 minus 10, that will be 0. 15 minus 6, 15 minus 6, that will be 9. 15 minus 2, that will be 13. And 17 minus 4, that will be also 13. So this is all about the turnaround time and waiting time. As we can discuss, we can find out the turnaround time and waiting time. if suppose you have to find out the average turnaround time and average waiting time, then what you have to do, that is addition of 10, 15, 15, 17. 10 plus 15 plus 15 plus 17. Divide by how many processes are there? 4. So, divide by 4. Then that will be your average turnaround time. So, now 10 plus 15, 25, 25 plus 15, 40, 40 plus 17, 57 by 4. 57 by 4. So, 4, 1, then 7, 14 point something, that will be your average turnaround time. And what is about the average waiting time? That is same as 0 plus 9 plus 13 plus 13. 0 plus 9 plus 13 plus 13 divided by 4. So, 9 plus 13. So, 22. 22 plus 13. 22 plus 13, that will be 35, and 35 divided by 4. So, 7 point something you will get. So, this is all about the average turnaround time and average waiting time, right. So, basically the advantage of FCFS, first, easy to implement, then simple, easy to use. This all about the advantage of FCFS. And what's about the disadvantage? That is, the CPU utilization is not more. And waiting time is more. This is the two disadvantage of FCFS, right. So, hope you like this video. Thank you.